Hello, my name is Tim. I've co-founded a fish farm hub here in Rukungiri, Uganda, and I thought today we would go through and look at hatching and collecting of pupa for maggots. So we run our BSF, our black soldier fly facility here in Uganda to feed our fish, and there's a life cycle, of course, like any animal, and we need to understand how we can continue to produce BSF. So let me give you the life cycle breakdowns. So this is the life cycle of the black soldier fly. You can start off, so let's start for the adult, then you get, they lay some eggs, then you get the larvae, then you get the pre-pupal stage where they're turning into the fly, and then the pupal when they're turning into flies. This is when we sort of harvest them, or around here really, and then when they're maggots, they're very, very good sources of protein, and that's what we're looking for to feed our fish, because protein is very expensive and we can produce black soldier flies which grow on waste, market waste and things like that very cheaply. Here's another diagram of the same thing, and the fly and the eggs, and then the different stages that they go through to get to that. So the question today is, how do we collect these ones, the pupils, or pupae, to get to the flies so we can carry on the egg production? Because if we harvest too many maggots, of course you don't get enough of the pupa stage happening, so you can't start your next generation. So the first thing we do is have these bays which the maggots feed in, and we would harvest the maggots from this. Let me just lift this one up. You can see some maggots down there, and then we have this slope which collects the pupa. So let me show you that. So these are why we use these concrete trays. You can see this is a pupa, and can you see it's very slowly climbing up. So it's a pre-pupa because it's moving, and then it's going to turn into a pupa. Basically what it's doing is it's looking for somewhere dry out of the moist substrate down there, where it can turn into a fly. So I've lost you. There we go. So we use this natural behaviour to harvest the pupa, and you can see that the rest of them that I've made it down here. And then this is this bay here. We don't have any. We do have some actually. We do have some pupa that need to be collected. I can't see any on the slope. I don't know if you can hear them. Let me put you closer. But this is going to be turned in a moment. I can hear them audibly. It's a bit damp. There's a lot of maggots in here, and they're going to turn into the pupa, and then this is their behaviour climbing up. So that's why we have the slope, because they self-harvest. Typically, if you were running a BSF production facility, they actually do often in these sort of, can't see one, but like a plastic tray. Here goes one up here, and that sort of basin, or a more square one. But then you have to harvest the pupa yourselves because there's no way for them to climb. But this way, with the slope, they can climb up and you can self-harvest, and it makes things a lot easier. So that's why we use that innovation. So another common technique for collecting pre-pupa is to use a basin. So you might have, maybe this is a round one, you might have a square one, or there's other ones I've seen. Anyway, some container where you've collected them, and the maggots are happy in there. You can see, I'll just turn this over and you'll see there should be lots of them. Now these are quite small, but we've run out of space because we've had so many. So you could just wait in, sieve through and collect some pre-pupa. Sometimes people do it by hand, which is very time consuming, or you could just leave them, and eventually you'd get all of these to turn into pre-pupa, and then they would hatch eventually into flies. But there's not much separation here. Another way you can do it, I'll just get my trusty trowel. If I come over here, is this technique. So here is just a big bucket, maggots inside. Let's see if we can find some. We might not, because I think a lot of these have already hatched or have turned into, you can see that a lot of these, see the dormant pupa in here. Let me zoom in a bit. So this looks like they're here already, but in here you can see we have what we call pre-pupa, because they're still moving. And what's happened is the maggots have climbed looking for somewhere. They have this behaviour looking for somewhere dry to lay their eggs and to sort of crystallise and then turn into flies. So they'll climb up, they'll come up to the top. This is the highest point in the bucket, and then they fall down and you can collect them in there. So that's another way of doing it. But ultimately what you're trying to do is, I'll just show you, is collect the pupa, and then that once they're dormant they just sit and they don't do anything, they just stay. They're turning into flies for about 7 days or so, and then eventually they'll hatch up, and you can see the flies on the inside of this love cage, and then they will lay their eggs, and there's different ways of collecting eggs, but this is our technique at the moment. Collect the eggs, you hatch out the eggs, then you start the process again. So those are a couple of ways that you can start to harvest your pre-pupa. I hope that was helpful for you. Maybe it's a few things to think about, but essentially what you're trying to do is mimic the natural behaviour that they've got, which is climbing up. That I think is the best way, because they self-harvest, it's just so easy, and then you can sort out your maggots later. So thanks for watching, we appreciate all your support, and I hope this video has helped you.